Hey everyone, super excited to be here with you. It's Tuesday evening, a little over 5 p.m. I'm talking to you today from the JW Marriott, Juhu. I was here for a meeting, got a little stuck up and a little delayed. So I'm at a bookstore here in the Marriott. And I thought I'll do my FB live from here. So there will be some background noises you'll be hearing because there are people shopping here in the bookstore, but they've been kind enough to allow me to do my talk from here. And this is the Granth bookstore, and we are here to talk about the importance of inner peace. So if you're online and you're logged in, do say a hello so that I know you're here with me. Thank you so much for all those people sending in their likes and loves. That's really awesome because when I know somebody's on the other end of the audience, it's always nicer to talk. So very quickly, let's look at the topic. And I think one of the most important things, the opposite of you could say peace, is the word stress. Hi Sudhir, good to have you. I think a lot of people today deal with a lot of stress. That is something that's been rising. And it's a word we use very casually every time we get stuck with things in life. That I'm very stressed or life stuff but the word stress has almost become synonym with every single person that we know. So what does stress really mean and how is it created? So according to me, stress is nothing but pressure divided by resilience. So the amount of pressure that life has on you, and if you divide by your ability to stand up to it or your ability to be resilient, if you divide that by that, you get your stress number. So any which ways in life, we cannot do much about the pressures we have because that involves other people. It involves things out of our control zone, so we can't really control those. But definitely one thing we can control is build our resilience and build our inner peace and inner power, and that's what we are here to talk about. So I think one of the major questions to answer before I even get into why is it important to talk about this topic is why do you need inner peace? And I think one of the most important reasons for wanting an inner peace is because peace is a higher vibration than stress to begin with, or anxiety, or guilt, or shame, or regret. Any of those negative emotions that we may be suffering with, peace is much, much higher vibration. And if you're in that vibration, what's going to happen is you're going to attract more people, situation, and and incidents and in your life which is going to be at that same vibration, and of course it's going to be able to attract the best in your life. The other important thing is when you're in that energy, you're going to have much, much better health, and as a result of that, much, much, much better relationships in your life as well. So it's all in all, your entire wheel of life gets shifted to a higher vibration. You can obviously have more joy in life because you're peaceful with yourself, you're comfortable within your own skin. And inner peace, according to me, also leads to a lot of inner power. And I think let's look at the word power very interestingly. What exactly is power? I think you would agree that we consider people powerful, or we look at people and say, oh, this person is really powerful, when we believe that that person can get things done for us. And inner power is the confidence in your own self, in your own skin, that you can get things done for yourself, and that what create a huge sense of comfort within your own skin and gives you this immense power, which of course leads to more peace within. Very simply, if I was to explain it through an example, I would say that if there is a bottle of water in my hand, if I'm holding it in my hand with the cap open and somebody jerks me, what's going to happen is that with that impact of that that hit, the water is going to come out, right? But not anything else. And I'm sure you know why, because the bottle contained water. It did not contain coffee. It did not contain, it didn't contain tea. So the fact that the water comes out means that what's inside will always come out when, when you're rattled or, you're like punched or any of those things. So in life also, similarly, when we are punched, we're dealing with problems, we're dealing with pressures. What comes out of us in terms of our emotions, in terms of how we speak to others, the words that we say, all of that depends on what's happening inside. If there is if there is comfort inside, comfort's going to come out. If there's love inside, the love is going to come out. If there's understanding inside, understanding is going to come out. But if there is stress inside, if there's anxiety inside, if there's guilt inside, if there's shame inside, if there's regret inside, or if there's hate inside, jealousy inside, then all those negative emotions will just immediately pop up the moment we are stressed. So that's a very, very important reason why it's important to stay in inner peace. And as I said, that if at any point in time, you're not comfortable inside of you, you're in some sense at a dis-ease with your own skin. You're not being able to handle what you're feeling comfortably, and anytime there is any kind of dis-ease in your body, you're going to develop some kind of a disease. So every single disease, in my belief, is a psychosomatic disease, and everything starts with the mindset. Everything starts with your own connectedness to your own spirit. Everything starts with how comfortable and calm you can remain in moments of challenge, right? So that is a very, very important thing to look at. One of the most interesting things that people ask me is, how do I get inner peace? I think one of the biggest questions is, what can I do to have it? So I would say, look at life one day at a time. Very, very important, because I think we tend to join two infinities on both ends. We look at the past, we look at the future, and we somehow overwhelm our own selves when we are dealing with something in the present moment. So one of the most important things to do is stay focused in the present moment, take life one day at a time, deal with the challenges of this day, now, in the present moment, stay present to it, give it your best, rather than worrying about what happened in the past or what's going to happen in the future. Because when you have these two infinities at the end, it's so much burden that life becomes really, really difficult. Yeah, so thank you, Ruma, for writing out what I'm saying. So that's really kind of you. Thank you so much. So that's one. The other thing is, processing emotions is very important. So of course, journaling is very important. I always tell people that, always express your emotions on a daily basis. If there's anything that's happened in the day that's bothered you or troubled you in any way, journal about it and burn that paper. Don't store that emotion, because if you keep it stored, again, it's going to lead to some kind of a dis-ease, and of course eventually some kind of a disease. So it's very important to process your emotions on a daily basis. If there is a situation about which you're really, really confused and you're going on thinking about it, one of the tendencies we have is we pick up the phone and we talk to friends and we try to take their advice, and now we have so much input coming to us from each corner. We have input in the favor of the situation, against the situation, and we are even more muddled. One of the easiest ways to clear and process emotions and thoughts is to put them on paper, write down the pros and cons of each side, and then take your own decision. And when you look at it on paper, it becomes really, really easy to take a look on it. So that's another way you can do it. The third thing you could do is ask yourself this question in any difficult situation: how can I make it better than this? Now how can I make it better than this? And honestly, this question is inspired by Access Consciousness, which says this: how does it get any better than this? And that's a question they always ask, to look at a situation and say, wow, how can I make this better? But again, if you're troubled, you could ask yourself, how could I make this better than this? Because when you ask that, the quality of questions you ask yourself will determine the quality of the life you're going to have. So when you ask the right question, you're going to get the right answer, and you're going to be inspired to find solutions rather than just discuss problems. So that's another thing that you could do. Another thing you could do is take some me time off. Today only I was meeting this woman and I asked her, what do you do? And she said, I'm a full-time mommy. And the first thought that came to my mind is, does she even take her me time? Because somebody who thinks the first thing that comes out of the mouth is that I'm a full-time mother, tells me that they probably don't even get that time and space for themselves. So it's very, very important. At least 45 minutes a day, do something that gives you joy, do something that makes you feel fulfilled, makes you feel that this life is worth living. So that's definitely another thing that you want to do for 45 minutes. Very importantly, exercise. I think there's a lot that's been spoken about it. It's very important to exercise. Why? Because it releases the hormone called endorphins, and when you have those running in your body, they are happy hormones. They keep you in a good energy, and it allows you to have a lot more peace and calm in your life. And you can look at a situation for what it is, and instead of reacting, you can respond to it. Another thing you can do is eat very, very healthy food, and I say eat a lot of greens, eat a lot of alkaline foods. Anything which is grown close to the earth is typically alkaline. Eat a lot of alkaline food, because what it does is that, if your body is acidic, also it kind of increases your mood. There's a mood fluctuation that happens as a result of that. So if you're having a lot of alkaline food, that helps. Another thing you want to do is supplement. A lot of times, when we eat our food, also we are tired because the food quality is not as good as it used to be many years ago. There's a lot of deterioration thanks to the insecticides and the pesticides that are being used in the fruits and vegetables that we eat. So supplement yourself. Definitely have some protein added to your diet, have some vitamins and minerals, and have concentrated fruits and vegetables. Have a lot of antioxidants in your diet, because that's going to keep your cellular, a lot of oxidation happens at a cellular level, which also makes us very, very tired. And if you're in full energy, of course, you're going to respond to situations in a much, much better way. So definitely exercise. Sleep well. I think that's very, very important. It's very important to sleep for many reasons. Of course, it allows you to rest your brain. It also allows you to reset your thoughts. So if you're on a negative momentum of thoughts, sleeping, sometimes they say I'll sleep over it. What it really means is that when I wake up, all my thought patterns, all my conscious thought patterns will stop when I sleep. When I wake up, I have a choice. Do I want to lift them up, or do I want to pick up a new set of thoughts? And even during the time you're dealing and battling with anything negative, you have 17 seconds to build momentum in the opposite direction. So let's say you're thinking about something and it's not making you feel good. And you can't, from one thought to another, it'll lead into a certain kind of a negative momentum, and then you'll be feeling really bad, and before you know it, you'll be crying or sulking or cursing someone or blaming someone or complaining about someone. On the other hand, is the first time you notice that some thought has popped up which is not making you feel good, immediately switch to another thought, and you will notice if you can just keep on that trail consciously for 17 seconds, you'll build momentum positively, and you'll start finding solutions in that, and you'll start looking at things which are going right. So have this 17-second rule to switch thoughts. In last but not the least is a gratitude exercise. Saying thank you for the things which are already right in life is very, very important, because the moment you recognize what's right, you attract more of it, because you're in that vibration, you're in that happy energy where everything's going right, and only nice things can come to you in that energy because there's no resistance. If you focus on things which are not right, you're going to attract more of those, because you're offering resistance to what you really want to create for yourself in your life. So that's another thing. So that's about inner peace. As I said, if you really want to kill stress, the best way is to build resilience. Have high volumes of resilience inside yourself, and a lot of it comes from having peace, and vice versa. So resilience leads to peace, and peace leads to resilience. So that's all I wanted to share today, very quickly here from JW Marriott. Thank you to the Grantha bookstore for giving me this opportunity to do this live from their store. As I mentioned, I was here for a meeting, and I'm happy that they gave me this place to do a live. So thank you so much, everybody who logged in. Thank you, Ruma, once again, for all your wonderful, type outs for the other people to read later. And thank you, Sudhir. Thank you, other people who logged in. I'm really glad that you could make it, and I hope that those who are watching this video later will of course benefit from it as well. And I really look forward to seeing you guys next Tuesday again at 5 p.m. because it's the best time of my life, when I'm able to interact with you and share my views on certain topics with you, which are very, very popular, very much in demand. A lot of questions around those being popped up in people's minds, and I'm glad that I'm able to be of any use to each one of you. So very humble and grateful for this opportunity, and thank you so much, and look forward to connecting with you next Tuesday 5 p.m. Of course, if you have any questions that you want to ask me about this topic, feel free to type in the comment section, and I'll get back to you within 48 hours. Thank you guys. Love you.